Welcome to Americana. Americana could be some trivia, fun quizzes, pictures, stuff, all things about the United States. Today, we are going to be looking at unusual pictures of America. So we're going to get right into it. We have about 30 of them, and I think you'll find them quite amazing. Here's a motorhome from 1922. Just take a minute and look at it. And it looks like he attached another small portion at the back end. Wonder how the walkway looks. But look at the attic and everything. Well, here's a very rare photo of Star Wars. These are the characters from left to right, but they're not in their Star Wars outfits. And notice the contrast in the heights of them. So you got Han Solo, then Darth Vader with the glasses, and Chewbacca, the real tall one in the back, then Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker, and then R2-D2. 1977. Oh, a bald eagle nest, of course, a forest ranger. That's rather clever. And there's a clever desk lamp. Will the fish take the bait? Well, it's a piranha. These actually are clouds over the beach. It is not gigantic waves. It's just how the clouds settled in. And the photographer saw this and snapped it. Paper clips in the shape of a cow. Scientists believe one of the functions of the zebra's stripes is to deter insects. So some researchers painted black and white stripes on several cows to see it reduce the number of biting flies that landed on the cows. It did by 50%. And this is clever braiding, but it's more clever photography. So here's the same place, the same memory, but it's 58 years later. Difference. This electronic computer in a box getting weighed off, and whatever was in that chipboard. And here's one more of those. There's 5 megabits storage, 1956, and 1 terabyte storage now. Notice the planes flying over the Golden Gate Bridge, 1937, as the pedestrians walk over the opening of it. And this is an actual jar quilt. It took the quilter almost 3 years to find and collect fabric that would have these jars on them. Once again, the clouds up in the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming. That's not Photoshop, that was real. Looks like waves. Then these are actual bathroom tiles. Look at the man holding it in the upper left. And that's when they're put into the bathroom. They look just like an apartment complex. Now, here's the size of a tornado if you've never seen one. If you look at the lower right, can you see the wind turbines? There's a group of them, but they do stretch across the horizon. But then you see the tornado. And yes, they really did do this up the Chicago River. And here is a barge called the Marine Angel. It negotiates up Michigan Avenue Bridge and moving around that. 1953. So I'm looking at that, and yes, it appears that it can nudge this way a little bit more, and then be able to turn the back end, and then it'll get straight. Los Angeles development and the housing boom in the 50s. Look at that, it's almost every house people were moving in. And yes, this is true. A huge walrus fell asleep on the hatch of a submarine. and block the crew from getting out. So they had to use the rear hatch. There he is, just sleeping. And this is, I thought, was just so touching. In 2000, a father in Utah designed this tombstone for his son, depicting the child free of his earthly burdens. He was a wheelchair victim. New York City from the air. Half of America lives in the black area. One half of America lives in the black area. And this, if you remember the old Batman show when it came on in 1966, it was a two-parter. One night, the first episode, followed up by the next. You had to come back. And it did the same thing the next week. Well, they were constantly walking up buildings from the outside. Now you can sort of see how they did that. Notice that Batman's cape had to have an iron line, or actually probably three of them, to keep his cape out, like it's falling. Here's the most detailed model of a human cell to date. Looks like a city, a nation. This advertisement was from 1966 and was prophetic. It read this: they say in 30 years a burger of fries could cost $16, a vacation $12,500, and a basic car $65,000. No problem. You'll eat in, you won't drive, and you won't go anywhere. Well, 30 years throws out to 2026. We're in 4. And I heard on the radio, burgers and fries and a drink was $19 at McDonald's in Connecticut. Disneyland vacation averages around that for a family for 4 to 7 days. And a basic car, if you get the EVs that are being pushed by our government, you're right there. So no problem. You'll eat in, you won't drive, you won't go anywhere. Now, here's a microscopic look at a bee stinger and a needle. Whew. Here's a mother and her calf. This is fascinating. This is a ring chess set. You can see the board on the top. When it gets closed, that's the ring. You can see where the finger goes through. You take a pair of tweezers to get the men out and put them on the board, and you pretty well play that way, but it's all functional. And here's a bunch of ants carrying a glove up an a lamppost. Yeah, an ant post. Look at all of them pulling it. Here's opportunity, an old shoe that's been nailed to a tree. Why not build a nest, feed your birds? And our last one, can you see the Chicago skyline? It's visible from 50 miles from the Indiana state dunes. 50 miles away. Well, thank you for watching. We've got a whole bunch of others on our playlist. Check it out, please, as well as a lot of Bible studies and Bible trivia and just some quizzes here and there. So thank you, and I say God bless America. See you for our next adventure.